Hey everyone, I'm here with Tod Bolsinger, back for our second episode of Quick Conversations. What do we call it? Quick Conversations for the Long Haul of Leadership. Hi Todd, how are you?
Hello, Marcus. Good to be with you again.
Yeah. We are looking at a quote today from Greg McKeown. Well, let me just go ahead and read it. This is from his book, Essentialism, which is a great book, very important, I think, especially when you're in the long haul of leadership. But here's what he says. He says, many capable people are kept from getting to the next level of contribution because they can't let go of the belief that everything is important. An essentialist has learned to tell the difference between what is truly important and everything else. Let me read it one more time. Many capable people are kept from getting to the next level of contribution because they can't let go of the belief that everything is important. An essentialist has learned to tell the difference between what is truly important and everything else. Yeah, Todd, help us kind of make the connection between what he's saying here and the long haul of leadership.
Well, when you talk to leaders about what makes it difficult, it's oftentimes it feels like everything rests on my shoulders. Like if
Mm,
I'm the senior pastor, I could have a big staff and it still all
yeah,
comes across my desk. If you're
yeah,
the seminary president, everything comes
yeah.
across your desk. If you're the executive director of a nonprofit, it feels like every really important thing comes across my desk. How do you decide what's essential that is
Mm-hmm.
really yours to do?
Yeah.
And how do you decide the things that maybe need to get done, but
Mm-hmm.
are not yours to do?
Mm-hmm.
And for most of us, this is a really difficult thing to discern. And what I like about Greg McKeown's work is that he put it back on the leader. And he said to ask yourself the
Mm-hmm.
question, if you can't solve every problem in this world,
Hmm.
well, what is the one problem that you'd like to give yourself to?
Hmm.
That you believe that has your abilities and your talents and your experience. If you could only give yourself to one problem, what would you want to give yourself to? And start from there.
Yeah.
And I think there's a kind of a good um, opportunity to do some discernment and
Mm-hmm.
also to do a kind of a gut check about of all the things that I could be doing. What's the most important thing for me to be
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And I will say that I need that personally, right? As a pastor, interim pastor right now of a small church with a staff person that is left and an admin person. So I'm like, all right, I need to get to a place where I'm not the one who's making bulletins, right? Because that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so how do we? And right, and I know that, and other listeners of ours, folks who are listening, know, okay, there are things I'm doing that could be done by someone else. How do you get to the point, other than, okay, we need to hire somebody perhaps, but that's more of a technical fix. How do you get to the
Mhm.
how do you get to this place where you're like, okay, I can let go of this, because there's maybe an interior thing that has to happen as well. What do you think about that?
Well, when you ask people, like when I'm coaching folks and I'll say to them, okay, if you could only give yourself to one problem, what would be the
Mm,
most important one you'd
mm,
face? They can quickly get to it. They would go,
mm,
this is what I would do. This is what I would
yeah.
do. This is what my church needs me to do. And I say, okay, so do that. And they go, yeah, but. And the yeah, but is always this person will be mad, that person will be mad, this person will be disappointed, this thing won't happen.
Mm,
Oh, now we're talking about a different question, which is
mm,
how do we organize ourselves as a community or as an organization
yeah.
to make sure all these things happen?
Yeah.
But as long as the leader is over functioning, that means other
Hmm.
people will under function.
Yeah.
And so I remember this when I was a young college minister, and
Yeah.
it seemed like every quarter I was losing the person who was leading worship. There's somebody with
Mm,
a guitar would graduate, and
mm.
I kept thinking, my job, I better just grab that guitar and learn to play a few chords and lead some singing. And I felt like God literally said to me, "That's not yours to do."
Mm.
It
Yeah.
helped that I didn't have a very good singing voice, but that's not yours to do.
Yeah.
And it's come back to me to think, so what would happen if I show up on a Sunday morning and there's no one to
Yeah.
lead singing? Then what we would do is something else. We would
Hmm.
pray. But
Yeah.
what they needed me to do was be the person who prepared the scriptures
Yeah.
and brought the leaders together to lead the ministry. And so it's part of living with the incompleteness
Yeah.
and understanding your own limitations that
Hmm.
allows you then to discern
Hmm.
what's the most important contribution for me to
Yeah.
be working on.
Yeah.
And that is where most of us find our sweet spot.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting how, you know, implementing this essentialism that Greg McKeown teaches isn't just about changing your calendar, right? It's not just about taking stuff off your calendar. It's about there's an inner life transformation that has to happen in order to really live into the this kind of essentialism and doing what really matters and what you're truly called to. So, yeah, good. Well,
it's an interesting thing. Howard Thurman has this famous quote where he says, "Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive."
Oh, yeah.
Because what the world needs is people who've come alive.
Yeah.
Now, I think there are moments where we've got to do some things that the world needs,
yeah.
but at least we should know the things that make us most come alive.
Yeah.
And I think when we start at that place and then we minister and lead out of that place, even when we have to take on other responsibilities, we take them on out of genuine servanthood, not because we're afraid someone will be mad at us.
Yeah.
And that the internal energy is going to be pretty different.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Well, Todd, thank you. Again, the quote that we referred to today is from Greg McKeown's Essentialism, and so folks can check that out. But Todd, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Always good.